Welcome back to another edition of In the Trenches. This is 2021 with us, Doug Skene, Michigan's former All-Big Ten offensive lineman, Western Michigan film, and Michigan wins 47-14. Skene, welcome back, man. We're going to start with 12:43 of the first. This is the first of many big runs for Michigan today. This is Blake Corum, and this is a nice cut here, nice vision. I'm going to credit Mike Hart for the patience and the vision of these backs this year. Watch Corum on this play and tell us what happens here.
So, Ballas, this is a counter play using it's a power play if you want to call it that, but you're using your tight end here, Schoonmaker, at the offensive right. He's right off the butt cheek of Stuber at right tackle. We're going to leave the end of line unblocked on the left side of the front, and we're going to attempt to down block with left tackle, left tight end, and left guard to front side linebacker, and leave that edge guy unblocked for Schoonmaker to go kick or what we call it to be an inside trap. He's going to try to get that inside number. We're not so great at the point of attack here because we're a little high and we don't get a whole lot of movement at the line of scrimmage. But the good news is from the center, right guard, and right tackle, we get a hat on a hat, and we do very well on the backside blocking here. It's all good, clean, hands are extended, and we got a good grip. Corum sees the gap develop on the opposite side of the play, and number 6 here from Western comes over, overruns the tackle, and then the safety comes up, and he does a whiff job too. Corum makes a great job of seeing the gap, taking it, getting into the secondary, and making a couple guys miss. But so we got a little bit of good, and we got a little bit of bad on this. The really good is the backside, starting with the center and right guard, Filiaga. They do a nice job of doing what you've got to do, because sometimes the backside is where the big hit comes from. The key block here being Vastardis, who gets his hands on that defender really well.
And I would like to see some better blocking downfield, but as you noted, this play's not supposed to go that way. Cornelius Johnson could be a little bit more aware, but if he holds his block, that's 6.
Yeah, and he could be a little more aware, but I think he was designed to have a cutoff block over at the far edge of the offense as well. He should know where that ball is going. You're right. He could do a little bit better in the open field blocking, but this is a great move by the back to have the vision to find it and see it and take advantage of it, and a really nice job by the center and right side of the offensive line.
Okay, play number 2, 11:30 of the first. This is a 3rd and 5 play, and it sets up a 4th and short thanks to a hole, but this is kind of by accident too. Look at the right side of the line here, Skene, and tell me what happens, because it looks like somebody's going the wrong way.
So, Ballas, what the play call, maybe it was called late in the game or late in the play clock, whatever. There was an adjustment made, and everybody got the signal except the right guard. Everybody's moving to a known spot. Now, you watch the right guard, Filiaga goes to his offensive right and realizes, oh, crap, I just went the wrong way, because his right tackle there, Stuber, is doing a cutoff block. Filiaga is supposed to be doing a combo block with his center, down lineman to linebacker. Well, that linebacker is walked up. So Vastardis has got to go right now. And his right guard should have realized this. But his right guard makes a mental error and goes the wrong way, so that starts the problem. Vastardis doesn't have help, so now we got a linebacker darting through. On the left side here, this is supposed to be backside cutoff stuff. You see Keegan moving out to a defender who he kind of whiffs on. And Hayes has got a nice backside cutoff, but we just don't have the right rhythm and cohesiveness up front because we got a guy going the wrong direction. That's just a mental error. Those things do happen in the first game of the year. But it's 3rd and 5, and we got to get a first down. These mistakes are what are going to dearly cost you against better teams. Now, the defender here from Western that comes up, the guy that folded around, when Eric All goes in motion, this defender here goes with him, and then the safety rolls over to pick up All. But this defender from Western folds in here and makes, you got to tip your hat. This was a hell of a tackle. He just gets underneath Corum and makes a football play. But he's got 2 or 3 buddies there helping him finish that tackle off, because we're not blocking clean at the point of attack because we got mistakes up front. So, first game, got to clean this stuff up if you're going to beat a better defensive front, which is coming next Saturday night.
Okay, 10:22 of the first, and I want you to watch the wide receiver blocking here, Skene. This is something that was noticeable live, is how good Mike Sainristil was as a blocker. Reminds me of a guy you played with, Chris Calloway. and he's not the biggest guy, but he gets this guy on the ground. He does the job. He may have not even had a catch in the game, but I tell you what, he stood out because of his blocking. Tell us what happens here.
Blocking is all about effort for those guys in the wide receivers group there. It's all about effort and toughness, Ballas, and this is about as good as it gets. So we got this little trio formation off of the left side of our offensive line here to the left of Hayes. And it's a quick little swing pass to your speedy back Corum here out of the backfield. But the reason this thing goes so well is obviously we're blocking effectively up front. They're bringing 4, and we got a hat and a hat, so the pass blocking is clean. The ball is gone before anybody even sniffs this quarterback. But you got to watch Eric All, Ronnie Bell, and Sandristol at the top of the play. Ball and All, or Ronnie Bell and Eric All, do a really nice job of getting to the upfield armpit and making those defenders go the long way around to try to get a tackle. They're never going to get there. It's exactly how they coach that. And then Sandristol goes over and does a nice cut block at the point of attack. The ball can get to the edge, and Corum makes one guy miss, which you're always responsible for. Corum's got to make a guy miss, which he does, and he tiptoes into the end zone easily. That is almost perfect execution out there.
And that's one of the reasons they're going to miss Ronnie Bell, too. This guy, the want to with this guy, fantastic blocker, too. Wishing him a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
Okay, we are looking at 5:45 of the first, and this is a sign of old school power football here. This is something that Jim Harbaugh likes. It's a staple, but if you're going to play this type of football scheme, you got to be better at the point of attack, especially on the left side of the line here. I want you to watch the left guard and the tight end Honigford, who's lost some weight. I thought he did a great job in that role, by the way, last year as an extra blocker. Now that he's got less weight, he's going to have to be better than this and get a little bit lower, play with better technique.
So, Ballas, this is either a 47 trap or the old 47G. It's one of the two. It's a variation of it. So we're going to down block from left tackle, left tight end, combo, down lineman to either front side or backside linebacker, one of the two. I'll get to that in a second. The center and right tackle are backside cutoff here, but you've got to be good with that left tight end, Honigford and Hayes combo block. You've got to get push and then get off on your linebacker. Filiaga is the pulling guard here. He's looking for either the first color that comes off the edge or the front side linebacker. The reason I'm not sure here is because Western runs basically a run blitz here. If you look pre-snap, this defender, number 27, number 25, I can't tell the number, he's standing over Sandristol, and the safety standing right behind him, number 27 in white. The safety is standing right over the top of him. That tells you this guy's coming. A good chance he's coming. So either you change the play because this is not going to work, or you block it better and get 3 or 4 yards because you're going to have somebody unblocked. Filiaga comes around the corner, and 27 is standing in his hip immediately. The other problem develops because we don't get push at the left tackle and left tight end double team. No one's getting up to the front side linebacker who's scraping over the top unblocked. I believe it's number 20. Makes a tackle right there in the hole. So we could say, okay, maybe Filiaga was supposed to go for him, and he got blown up by the blitz. Okay, well, that's fine and dandy, meaning Honigford should have gone to the backside linebacker. But Honigford didn't get there either. So both linebackers go unblocked here, Ballas, at the point of attack. If this is going to be part of the core offense for Michigan, this is going to have to be a lot better. Again, week 1, live football. Haven't done this in a real game in over a year, so it's going to be a little clunky. But I bring this up as an example of the kind of thing Michigan wants to do and they should do. I love this kind of offense. It's power football. But this is the kind of thing, if you're going to be really good as a football team and an offense controlling games, you got to be great at this stuff.
Okay, 13:58 of the second. This is the Ronnie Bell one-handed catch. That wasn't, thanks to a crappy call, offensive pass interference. But I want you to watch here. Skene, you brought it up. There's a twist here that they pick up. This is great pass protection, especially for week 1. And then watch Blake Corum do his Mike Hart impression here and stonewall this linebacker that's blitzing. And he gets him up near the line of scrimmage, gives his quarterback plenty of time to find Ronnie Bell deep.
All right, so 3rd and 10, Ballas. Everybody knows it's a passing down. We're showing pass in our stances, everything. Your radar's got to be on high alert for blitzes, and it's exactly what Western brings. The guy over Vastardis at nose is going to move to our offensive left. Vastardis is going to pass him off to his left guard. Really nice. Keegan's right there. It's a nice job. And then they bring a combination of linebackers, and that fourth down lineman basically who's standing up. They're rushing 4 guys at the line and bringing 2 linebackers, but they twist them. And between Filiaga and over there in Stuber on the right side, there's some patience displayed. Vastardis gets his guy and stones him, and then Corum comes up and absolutely stops that linebacker cold at the line of scrimmage in the bowl, if you will, of those offensive linemen. We're going to create that wall up there. In years past, we would see backs catching their blitz pickup and getting knocked into the quarterback, not allowing room for that arm to follow through. This is really good pass protection by the offensive line and back. And then, of course, a really nice deep ball, and then it gets topped off with an unbelievable catch by Mr. Ronnie Bell, who gets it called back because of a crappy offensive pass interference call. But the highlight here, Ballas, is that this offensive line early here, week 1, in a passing down, recognizes the blitz, picks it up really nice with that back in combination. Quarterback's comfortable. He did not get drilled after he released the football. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Okay, 6:27 of the second, and this is the touchdown, Hassan Haskins. Now, it looks great, but there are a couple things that need to be cleaned up here as well. You got a guy in the backfield. Your center, Vastardis, who had a great game, lets a guy leak through a little bit here. You told me he'd get a negative on this play, Skene?
So here we go, Ballas. People are going to freak out that I'm being too critical. If you pause this film after Vastardis' second step, you're going to watch a defensive lineman from Western have his pad level way below Vastardis, and Vastardis' head is way above this dude. Now, the effort is not what I'm criticizing here. What I'm simply saying is, you don't ever want defenders standing 2 yards deep in your backfield cutting off running lanes. Yes, Vastardis didn't have a great start on this play, but he finished it off with a great effort to get the guy out of the way. But ideally, Vastardis is taking this guy down the line flat and maybe even getting a little push instead of allowing a dude in our backfield. So back to 1992, I guarantee you Les Miles has given me a negative on this play, even though it's a touchdown. That's how much of a hard ass he was in grading us and how hard it was to get up over an 80% on your film grade to make the Victors Club. I wanted to kill that guy because, man, we just scored a touchdown, but I'm getting lectured about how my block wasn't good enough. So when people go, oh, you're too hard on these players, Skene, in reference to the way I was coached, all right? So, great effort. Vastardis, he'll get better at this. I agree with you. The kid played a really nice game. We've got a highlight coming up to, which I think is the block of the game, and it was Vastardis that did so. But the reason this thing breaks in the end zone is because at left guard, Keegan gets a nice block here on 55, and then Zinter and Stuber at the point of attack here have a hat on a hat. We got hands where they need to belong, and there's a big old fat gap there for this running back, Haskins, to get through, who then powers through an arm tackle by the safety who comes up, and he walks in the end zone. So some good stuff here, some concerning stuff that needs to be cleaned up. But what I like about this whole play setup, if you go back to the pre-snap, tight ends and a fullback, Ballas, this is old school, and I know Jim Harbaugh loves this. And again, you can be really powerful football team if you get good at this, and it looks like Michigan's going to try to commit to that this year.
Okay, 3rd and 1 with 17 seconds left to go here, 3rd and goal. And this is a bad play. First of all, your quarterback goes a little bit too fast here. You got 20 seconds and a timeout left. I thought the clock management was fantastic, basically, to that point, marching the field. But you got to take your time here and understand that these guys are going to be running downhill at the snap and be set, not be rushed. Take your time here, and instead, they just get knocked backwards on their asses.
So the previous play, Ballas, it was 2nd down, and we got knocked back on that one, which set up this one. And now you're hurry, get to the line. And as an offensive lineman, you look before this ball gets snapped, look at the defensive stances of these defensive linemen, these interior guys. They got both hands down on the ground. You know it's submarine time. Their job is to stuff the A and B gaps. The linebackers are standing at their heels. They're coming downhill. It shouldn't surprise anybody. But at the most critical spots here, at the point of attack, their right guard is going backwards. He gets lifted underneath his pads and pushed backwards, which knocks off our pulling tight end here, Schoonmaker, to come across the play, who doesn't basically touch this guy who's supposed to kick block on the end of the play here, this guy coming off the edge, number one. Schoonmaker doesn't touch him. Filiaga has already gone backwards. The starters can only do the best is to get onto this linebacker and swallow him at the line. We don't get any push out of him. Keegan whiffs on his backside cutoff block. The guy splits that. It gets into the backfield. Keegan standing in the end zone. He does the old crap slap where you kind of, smack your hands together knowing dang well you just messed up. So this is a mess, right? And I wanted to bring this one up and point this out. Again, week one, it's a little clunky out there. You haven't been in this situation in a real football game, but this kind of thing cannot happen again. We had an opportunity to get a first down, move the chains for a moment. You still have a timeout. You can run another play, get in the end zone, and then if you need to, use your timeout to call and get the field goal team on the field then. But this needs to be a learning lesson for this offensive line. Down inside the 5-yard line, the game changes, and you better be lower and you better get moving and moving people out back into the end zone. It cannot go the way it just went.
Okay, last play, 10-18 of the third. This is the block of the game by Andrew Vistardis here at center. We've talked about his lack of athleticism at times, but I'll tell you what, this guy gets out there, and you said this is a helmet sticker block all the way. Talk about this play development here.
So we got a sweep coming off the edge here to heading on around the edge with a lead block by our other tight end here, Mr. Eric All, who's coming around the edge. So it's down block the front side. You got left tackle going for what appears to be the front side linebacker at first, but he lets him go. And then he goes to middle linebacker and gets a nice little binky knockdown block there. He'd get credit for that one. Those are always fun. Keegan's got basically a front side cut off to keep him from going to the edge. But the block of the game, in my mind, for an offensive lineman, if there's one guy that stood out in the game here for one block, it's this one. Watch your center. He pulls around left guard and left tackle, finds his target, gets upfield, attacks the knee, and gets the guy on the ground with a nice cut block. It really doesn't get any better than that. And, yeah, you and I, Ballas, and myself, mostly, we've said maybe at times Vistardis isn't the most athletic guy. On this play, I am absolutely wrong and happy to be wrong because this is damn impressive by this kid to get out and make this touchdown springing block, and off to the races we go for downfield move, and a great late block here by Haskins as well. Great vision downfield to get a little chip block to ensure this thing gets in the end zone. But man, that's really, really good stuff by your center. And if we can just do nothing but get better at that going forward, then Mr. Vistardis is going to prove me wrong throughout the season and be more athletic than we thought he was.